Good day everyone, you're welcome back to this channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you an important tips and trick you need to know in making your beautiful crop top, and I'm going to take it step by step. Trust you're going to enjoy this tutorial. Just take your time and watch this video to the end. Thanks. So right now, as you can see, I've folded my fabric already, and this fabric is folded into 4 pieces. So I'm going to count from the edge here just to confirm. Now I see 1, 2, 2, 3, and 4. So is 4 pieces. So the first thing I'm going to do right now, you are going to determine this is going to serve as the shoulder line, inclusive in the shoulder line plus your sleeve length. Now it actually depends on how long you want your sleeve length to be. And so in this case, I have the shoulder line to be 15 inches. That is half of the shoulder line. 15 divided by 2 gives me 7.5. So 7.5 plus my sleeve length will give me what I have right here. So I'm going to measure so that you can see. I have approximately 20 inches here. So that is for the shoulder and the sleeve together. Now this is going to be the length of this top. Now I have it here. So I'll be making use of, this is 21.5 inches. So for the length. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to go ahead right now and mark my neck neckline width. So I'm going to place it like this. This is the center front for both the front piece and the back piece. So I place it on this center front and I mark 3/4 inches. So 3.25 as my neckline width. Here is it. Now for the depth, I will be making use of 2 inches for the depth of this neckline. So I have the 2 inches right here. Can you see? So I will just go ahead and create a slight curve to connect these 2 lines together, or 2 points together. So just a slight curve. So here is it. So the next thing I'm going to do right now from this upper part, I'm going to mark 10 inches downward. As you can see, from the shoulder line, I will mark 10 inches downward, and I have it here. Okay, so I will also go to this edge. I marked 10 inches downwards. So here is it. Then I extend it to this edge here, and I mark the same 10 inches downward. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to connect these lines together. So as you can see, I've connected the lines together. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to determine the bust circumference. Now in this case, the bust circumference is 36 inches. 36 divided by 4 will give me 9. So 9 plus 3 inches will give me 12. So I will be marking, instead of that 12, I'm going to deduct 1 inch from it. So I'm going to mark 11. 11 right here. Now on the down part, I'm going to mark 12. Remember, I deduct 1 from here, but here I'm going to mark 12. 12 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to connect from this point here I'm going to connect to this edge here. Can you see? You can see I've connected the line together. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to look for, from this point to this point here, I'm going to look for the midpoint. So I have about 11 inches. So I'm going to look for the midpoint. Let me just mark it here. Here as my midpoint. From that point, I'm going to mark like 1.25 inches outward, or 1 inch. Okay. So right now, having marked it from that point, so I'm going to come to this base here. So from this base here, I'm going to connect this line straight to meet this. But from this one, I'm going to come out by 1 inch. So I'm going to connect this line straight to this. Can you see? So right now, what I'm going to do right now, from this point here, I'm going to come out by half an inch, or 3/4 of an inch. Okay. So right now, I will start the curve from here down to this point here. Okay. So let's go. So right now, here, I'm going to make a slight curve from this place. Just a slight curve from this place to connect these lines together. You see. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is just to cut. I'm going to trace this line. Then I cut it out like this. You see. So I will also go ahead to cut the neckline. So here is it. So I haven't cut it out, so I'm going to remove this. So I can now open what I have right here. Here is it. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to cut a tape, bias tape, to tape the neckline round. And then here is it. I've already cut it out. I have the width of this bias tape to be 1.5 inches. It shouldn't be more than this. It is either 1.25 or 1.5 inches, and you can see it here. 1.5 gives me like 4 centimeter. So that is what I'm going to use to tape the neckline. Now at the down part here, I'm going to cut also a band, a strap, which I'm going to use to tape both the front and the back. And here is it. I've cut it out. One has the width of 4.5 inches, or yes, one have the width of either 4 inches or 4.5 inches, but here I have 4.5 inches because I'm going to fold it into two equal parts like this. Then I stitch it, curve it this way first, then I stitch it down. So at the tail end, I'm going to curve it like I curve at the start point. So that is one of the stripe. So the second one is this. I have the second one, the width 1.5 inches. So I'm going to tape it. I will just mark the center point. So that is what I'm going to do right now. But I'll first go ahead and stitch the neckline with my bias tape. So as you can see right here, I'm done with this one piece, the base of it. You can see. So I've I top stitch up to this, down to the other end, like I explained the other time. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to work on the second piece. Now the second piece, I will also do likewise. Now in the case of this second piece, the width of my band is not as wide as this. I have the width of my band here to be like 1.5 inches. So I have it here like, let me just say 1.5 inches. It's less than 2 inches. So I will also do likewise. I'm going to look at, I'm going to place it equally like this, just to determine the midpoint. So I'm going to fold it into two equal parts like I'm doing right now. So I fold it into two equal parts. So here is the midpoint. And then I'm going to place it right side to right side. This is right side and this is right side. So I'm going to place it like this. Midpoint to midpoint, right side to right side. So I'm going to use my pin to pin it down. So I proceed. So I use my pin it down. So I pin it down. So I also extend it to the other side here. I'm going to use my pin to pin it down. Can you see? So having pinned it down, the next thing I'm going to do is just to run a stitch. So I'm going to run a stitch from here to this point here. After that, so I'm going to remove this pin. Then I'm going to come like this. So I start from the edge. This time I won't fold it like this. All I need to do, I will just fold it twice like this. One, two, three. So that everything excesses will enter, will be in the inner side. You can see. So right now I'm going to stitch it like this. But before that, I'm going to the edge here, I'm going to fold it in. Then I place it like this so that you won't see the excesses outside here. Then I will just run the stitch, okay, making sure that no excesses is outside. I push everything inside like I'm doing right now. I push it inside, so you can see how neat it is. So I'm going to stitch it. So I run a stitch across from this end to the other end. So as you can see right here, I've also done the second one just exactly the way I described. So this is what I have. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to turn it right side inward. Here is the right side. This is the wrong side. So the next thing I'm going to do, what I'm going to do right now is to stitch it at the side. So I'm going to make sure that both rhymes, it rhyme on the down part so that it doesn't, one is not longer than each other. So here is it. So I'll just go ahead to the shoulder line. From the shoulder line, I'm going to mark 11 inches. I'm going to mark 11 inches. Can you see? Here is 11 inches. And make sure it's aligned very well. So that's what I'm just doing right here. So like I said I'm going to mark 11 inches. And from this shoulder line, I have, let me show you so that you can see what I'm doing right here. I say I'm going to mark 11 inches from the shoulder line, and I have the 11 inches stops here. So from that point, I'm going to mark 7 inches downward. So I place my measuring tape, so I mark 7 inches downward. Here is it, 7 inches. So I'm going to stitch from here. So I run a stitch just like less than 1 inch, or like 0.5 inch is okay. So I run this stitch, I mark it first. Can you see? So I run the stitch here, so which means I'm closing this side. So the same thing will be repeated on the other side here. I'll go ahead and mark 11 inches from the shoulder line. So I mark 11 inches. So from here, so from that point, I'm going to mark 7 inches downward, and I have it here. So I'm going to run a stitch here like 0.5 inch. So I will also do likewise to this one. So I will just stitch to that point. So after that, we are through. Now as you can see, here is the neckline. I'm done with the sewing. Can you see? After that, I iron it. That is why you can see it relaxing or relax like this and neat. Can you see? So the next thing, and also I went on to sew from this side seam. I sew it, I turn it like this, and I sew round to the sleeve side, down to the other side like this. So I sew from here down to the other side, and I also went ahead the second side also. I did likewise, sewing from the down part like this. So I also went ahead to iron it, and that is what I have like this. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to place it like this. I place it like this. Now this down part, which is the waistline here, I'm going to measure what I have. Now when I measure what I have, now in this case I have like almost 22, so I'm going to look for the midpoint of what I have here. So the midpoint, I have it here. I have it here. So let me be very accurate. So I have the midpoint right here. Okay, let me just mark it. This is the midpoint. Now from this midpoint, I'm going to mark 4 inches on my right hand side like this. I mark 4 inches. I put a mark here, there. Then on my left hand side, I also mark 4 inches, 4 inches. Here is it, 4 inches on this side and on this side. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to hold it from this point. So I'm going to overlap it with 3/4 of an inch like this. 3/4 of an inch like this, or 1 inch. So I'm going to use my pin to pin it down. Can you see? So I will also go to this part. I do likewise. I fold it in like this, and I use my pin to pin it down. Can you see? So what I did here is what I will be repeating here also. I will also do likewise. I will look for the center point. So I look for the center point, and I have it right here. I put a mark there. So on my right hand side, I'm going to measure 4 inches to my right hand side, then 4 inches to my left hand side. So I'm going to use like 3/4 of an inch to overlap each other like this. Then I pin it down. I will also do likewise here, 3/4 or 1 inch. So I pin it down. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to take my belt, which I've cut already. So I'm going to take the belt right side to right side. So I'm going to look for the midpoint of this belt. So I'm going to fold it into two equal parts. So I fold it into two equal parts to determine the midpoint. Okay, so I have it here. So from this midpoint, I'm going to place, it on the midpoint which I mark here, right side to right side, right side to right side. So I'm going to stitch, so I'm going to sew to this side. Also, I will sew to this side. Then the remaining part here, haven't got to this point here, haven't got to this point. The remaining one here, this remaining one, I'm going to fold it into two like this. Then I stitch it. I'm going to fold it into two. You can see how I folded it. Then I'm going to run the stitch, continue the stitch to the end. So the end, at the end here, I'm going to curve it, just give it a curve like this. And that is what I will be repeating on the other side too. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. So having done this, I'm going to go to, so I'll be right back to show you. So can you see I've finished stitching the base? Can you see, after getting to this point, like I explained the other time, then I say I'll fold this one into two like this. I fold it into two. The right side is inside like that. So I run a stitch. You can see the stitch. By the time I got to this point, I curve it so that it will give me that sharp pointed edge. So right now is for me to just turn it inside out. So you can use any blunt, not too sharp object. You can see me using my pair of scissors. So I'm going to use it to push it out like I'm doing right now. So then I bring this out, this pointed edge out. You can use your needle. This time you have to use a sharp object like needle to bring this edge up, out. Can you see? So, and that is what I will be doing to the second one, or that is what I did to the second one here. So the next thing is just to turn this one like I've just turned this one. So after turning it out, the next thing is to stitch it to the fabric to cover it up. So I will also bring this out. And you see, so I try to bring it out, the pointed edge out, just exactly like I did to the other side. So you can see, so this one automatically is inside. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to close it up. So I will just push this inside, then I close it up like this. Okay, so I'm going to close it up. I stitch it, run a stitch at the edge here, down to this side also. Then I proceed, or I continue with the stitch to this side so that this one will relax very well. And that is what I will also do here. So it's better I just start from here. So I'm going to run the stitch right from here, from this point here down to the next one here. So that is the next thing I'm going to do right now. Now, as you can see right here, I've sealed the neckline. Can you see? With my bias tape. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to notch round. So I'm going to notch round. Can you see? So I'm going to do this all round. After that, then I fold it, the edge, and I stitch. So as you can see, I finished notching it round the neckline. Can you see? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to place it like this, and I stitch this edge all through. After that, then I'm going to fold it like this, then I stitch. So it will come like this. So I'm going to stitch this down part. So we have come to the end of this tutorial. Now here is the beautiful summer top or crop top. Now I want to believe that you've learned one or two things in this tutorial. If you have, kindly click on the liking button to support this project. And if you have any comment regarding this tutorial, kindly drop your question, in your comments in the comment section. And if you have any question regarding this tutorial, feel free to drop your question. Please feel free to share this video out. Now, thank you very much for taking your time to watch this video. Thank you, thank you. If you are yet to subscribe, just click on the subscribe button below and you click on that bell, that notification bell, and you also make sure that your bell is always on so that anytime I post a new video, you can have access to it. Thank you very much. So till I come your way again, bye for now.